this video is to talk about assignment 3, goal-specific training. So first, let's talk about where do we find this. This assignment is in the week 4 folder, even though it opens on July 22nd. So it opens July 22nd and it's due July 28th. So it opens at 8 a.m. on the 22nd, due on the 28th at midnight, but it's found in week 4. So go to week 4 on Blackboard to find this. So let's talk about what you're doing. So first, this assignment is based on program design and the goal-specific training lecture. So part 1 of this is worth 10 points, and this is where you're writing an essay. It's going to be a fun essay, though. You're going to have so much fun when you write it because you're writing about your athlete. So the same athlete that you used in assignment 1, you're now choosing one training goal. So think back to the needs analysis, and you identified 1, maybe 2 training goals that you thought were most important for your athlete to focus on. So those are the training goals that you're using. Like I said, you can use 1 or 2, but no more than that. So 2 of the most important, and you see here those training goals. So you're basically explaining which goal is most important. Write an essay. Here's the directions. It's 1 full page, single spaced, 12-point font, Times New Roman, describing why that goal is most important. So again, with answering those why questions. And what methods will you use to train him or her to achieve that goal? So program design and periodization are going to be the best to reference for this. That's what it says. Refer to those lectures for examples. Use this essay to explain your program design chart in part 2, which I'll get to in a second. So make sure the chart below, which I'll show you, here's your chart below, includes those training goals that you chose. And I'll give you an example of that in just a second. But let's talk about this essay. You're going to reference at least 2 peer-reviewed research articles regarding training for that specific goal. So using Google Scholar, PubMed, or this link right here is the Texas Tech Library. I know y'all are not on campus, which is too bad, because if you're, maybe some of you are, but if you're on campus, you have access to so many different journals and so many different articles. When you're away from campus, which we're online, so I understand that we may be not available or have campus resources, you'll still get access to some of those journals and some of those articles. You may just have to look a little bit harder. So you're going to find scientific articles. It cannot just be the abstract. It has to be the full article. Provide at least 2 in-text citations. So this is my example right here. So let's say that you want to quote the article that you found. You want to say something like, in my article, like this article said that this type of training was really effective for this athlete and they found this and this and this about performance. So since that wasn't your own words, it was from the article, an in-text citation would be, let's say you cited Dr. Palmer, so my husband. So let's say you have the last name, so Palmer, and then the year of the publication. That's all you have to put behind the statement that you included in your article. That's if they have, let's say, 1 author. Let's say there's 2 authors. If there's 2 authors, you would take the 2 authors and you would do their last name, so like Smith and Jones, and then the year 2020. Let's say the article was published this year. Let's say there was like 10 authors. You don't have to list all 10. You would just take the last name of the first author that was listed, and then you would put et al. And you may see that when you're reading your documents. You may see that in those articles you see like last names and then like et al. And then the year. It's et.et al. And that's all it is. And then the year. But you'll be able to figure that out. So that's an in-text citation. And then you'll also cite the articles at the bottom in MLA or APA format. Again, you only have to find 2. So that's really easy. So MLA, APA format, you can look that up online. And then also just provide enough detail to support your answers, and then refer to the writing rubric, which is found in course information at the very bottom. And that will help you kind of gear your writing ability. So yeah, essay, pretty simple. Next, let's talk about this program design chart. So Program design chart is, so you'll follow these directions right here. It's a sample training day for your athlete. So whatever training goal you said, let's say you said power and endurance were most important. You're going to kind of gear your resistance training workout towards power and endurance. But not all exercises have to be the same goal that you wrote about, at least 2 to 3, okay? So choose 5 resistance training exercises. This last here one is blank, but go ahead and put 5 so you know that you have to do 5. But you can do more than 5. You can do 6. You can do 7 different exercises, at least 5. So that's first. You're identifying the type of exercise. So I have slides listed. So that's found in slide 22 of program design. So that's exercise type, such as your core, your power, your assistance goes here. Exercise choice, we see our example, bench press, deadlift, cleans, curls, whatever your exercise is. Training goal is here. Also I forgot to mention, you have to make sure that your exercises are in order. So that's found on slide 26 of program design. So in the correct order. And then you're choosing your training goal here. Training goals, you know where those are found in program design. Repetition and set scheme is right here. So make sure that your reps and sets match the training goal that you chose. And then this one here, goal-specific method. So that's in the goal-specific method lecture. So let's say my training goal was endurance. I would choose a method that was discussed in the endurance section. If I chose hypertrophy, I would choose a method that was discussed in the hypertrophy section of that lecture. You're assigning a percent 1RM, which is in program design, slide 29, 23, or 33. And then your rest length, which is at the very end of program design. So yeah, that's your chart. But let me pull up my example. So no, I did not write an essay, but I do give you examples for how to complete the chart. So this here, the part 2, is kind of like practice for assignment 4, because you're going to be designing 4 charts that look just like this, but it'll be a little bit different. So this is just like a sample program. So I added a 6th exercise there, and you can see. Well, first let me mention that the training goals that I chose for Julie Ertz, my soccer player, were power and endurance. So at least 2 to 3 of my training goals are power and endurance. And in my essay, I'm going to explain why those goals are important and how I'm going to use those methods to train. So I see I have power here. I used cluster sets, which is a method for strength or power. I have kettlebell swings and jump squats, which is like a power endurance type training. And that's a compound set. And then I used a lighter 1RM. So if you look at this asterisk right here, you go down here and you see that the load was reduced so the power exercise can be explosive. We know that kettlebells and medicine balls and use kind of a lighter load. And then jump squats, if I was doing body weight jump squats, the percent 1RM would be 0. But I'm doing kettlebell jump squats. So we said that's roughly around 30% of the 1RM because I'm moving my body rapidly. Next we have deadlift, which I'm also training for power here. The load is reduced, but I'm using still a same power volume. I have reverse barbell lunges and calf raises. That's going to be kind of a superset. I'm doing an endurance focus. I have barbell bench press and bent over rows, but now I'm doing a strength focus here. That's also kind of a superset. So I have a 6RM. A 6RM means I'm doing 6 reps at a maximal effort, which equates to about 85% of the 1RM. And then here I have assistance, tricep dips, and hammer curls. Endurance focus, I'm doing an ascending set. So an ascending set, the reps stay the same, but the load is going to either increase with ascending or decrease with descending each set. You can also use pyramids, which are very common. If you use a pyramid or an inverted pyramid or a reverse pyramid, the reps would also change with each set along with the load. You can get really creative with this. There are so many different methods that you can use in that goal-specific training lecture. But let's say you don't want to use any method. You want your set to be very simple, or your workout, or for a certain exercise. What you could put here is, and this says it, oh, I did it already, sorry. A straight set. A straight set, which I use for exercise 3, it's nothing fancy. A straight set means everything stays the same. We don't change anything throughout the sets. So you can use a straight set, which is just normal. But I do want you to try to play with those goal-specific methods. Again, this is kind of practice for assignment 4, where you're going to design 4 different training charts. I know some of you may have learned how to design workouts and how to program exercises before taking this class, and you may have like your own method to do that, and that's great, but you do have to follow these guidelines. You have to follow the guidelines of NSCA, you have to follow the guidelines in program design, and I know that's hard if you didn't learn NSCA guidelines growing up. So for this class, you just kind of have to change the way you think about programming exercises and do it kind of like I ask you, with going off of the program design lecture, going off of those NSCA guidelines. But if you have any questions, I can certainly help you out. But use my example to kind of guide your designing. But don't take my exercises. You'd be surprised how many people just like copy my chart onto their document and just change a few exercises or change a few volumes or loads. I will have this chart pulled up when I grade everybody's. So don't try to copy anything. Use it as examples. You know, you can take something and then completely kind of change it to make it your own. But that's what it's here for, to guide you. But yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. Other than that, you should be able to complete this assignment successfully.